Hello, my name is Anthony Gibbs, and I am a professor, an adjunct professor at Mid-Michigan College here in Mount Pleasant and also located in Harrison, Michigan as well. I have been very graciously asked to give my thoughts on Black History Month, basically, I guess. Yeah, I have to admit, it's you often sit down and you are prepared yourself when you're in the car walking around like I'm going to give the perfect talk on this, or I'm going to say the most pithy, most profound thing ever. And the moment comes, it's like, but I'm gonna get past that, and I'm going to try and talk to you basically here about this. From a personal standpoint, an academic standpoint, I guess I'll speak on the topic. We'll start with academic standpoint. From an academic standpoint, what Black History Month means to me is that it is an invitation to study and an invitation to examine and an invitation to reflect, right? An invitation to think critically about being Black and what Black history means and what the Black experience means in America. It means the opportunity to very often, as I tell my students, to participate in the dialogue of academia by writing papers, by responding to one another in class and on blog posts, by making Black history not into a dog whistle, not into a political football, not into a tribal point of pride, but rather make it into something we all can discuss and share in the rich tapestry that is American history. Because we're talking Black history, we're talking Black American history. Now you can talk about like Black world history and other Blacks and people of color of African descent that don't live in America during this time too, and that's very important as well. But mainly we're talking about like Black American history. Well, hell, I guess you could say that in the Western Hemisphere, you have people of African descent go south, north, and middle, South American, Central America, and North America. So essentially, the history of the West, the history of Western culture, of colonization, and invariably of modernization, is not told without us. Wherever we're mixed up in it, I guess. So that is examined, as well. And the hope is, academic-wise, is that it can be examined from a place of honest discourse and not from a place of anger or from a place of hatred or from a place of rancor or from a place of one-upsmanship, but to share in an eclectic and egalitarian discourse. What I dare say, some equanimity. I hope I used the word right. but anyway, I guess the next part is personally, what does Black history mean to me? Well, personally, it means I matter. It means that I get to tell the story. I get to help tell that story versus people saying my story for me. It gets to mean that what if contributions to culture it is that we've made are celebrated as part of the culture, as the equal part of the culture. You know, it speaks of perseverance. You know, like it speaks of and reminds me what my ancestors. You know, that's why I have these statues over here. You know, it's not a religious thing, though. This one's kind of dusty, I admit. It's not quite a religious thing per se, you know, but I do think of them sometimes as those are the ancestors, you know, walking with me, you know, keeping watch on things, you know, reminding me of the people that gave everything. People who had no choices about anything. It reminds me of my grandfather and what he had to go through. Both my grandfathers, the stuff they did right and the stuff they did wrong. You know, I think it reminds me of my mother and the 40 years, 30 plus years she spent working in public schools in Detroit. How by giving and helping build people's educations, she helped to build towards equality. She gave her entire life doing that. So many others who are not sung, who are not celebrated, who just wake up every day and go to work, man. Who endured God knows what for years so they can put some straight bread on the table, right? So their babies could eat. You know, very often we celebrate like these gangsters, right? And we celebrate the people who went out in the street and fought. You know, people who marched in the protest. You know, yeah, you know that was important. That was important, right? Now I'm not discounting anything, the speeches, or the marches, or all of that. You know, all that needs to be celebrated. That's important. But I think we cannot forget the ordinary people that toiled. You know, oftentimes silently, who slipped the extra $5 bill into the contribution plate so they could go on doing that thing, but they had to go to work the next morning. They had to keep their mouth shut while their coworker said all those insensitive things that nowadays we can sue about, cry about, scream about, and we get listened to. Think about all the people on the job that did not get listened to and had to endure that, but they put up with it so somebody like me could go next. So that's what Black history means to me personally. You know, it's a reminder, you know, like I had a mentor, well, wouldn't call him a mentor. He just was somebody who passed through life. But he said something wise to me. And he said, each one reach one. Right? And that's some old motivational, stuff somebody's peddling, right? So you're like, oh, whatever, dude. But he's talking real science. Each one reach one. I think that's the essence of what Black History Month is about. If you sit down with somebody else and you discuss something about Black history or about Black culture in a productive manner, in a non-condescending manner, and that has somebody else re-examine what that means in Black History Month, what that means. If another person starts a conversation that's civil about it too, then we reach somebody. So anyway, I guess I'll leave you with that. And I thank you for sitting down and watching all of this. And until next time, I hope everyone here stays safe and well and finds what they search for. Goodbye and goodbye.